Evening, and thank you for joining us from Houston, where today thousands of mourners lined up for hours in the heat here at the Fountain of Praise Church, wearing masks and waiting to pay their respects to George Floyd. Floyd will be buried here tomorrow next to his mother, more than 2 weeks after dying in police custody when a Minneapolis police officer pinned him down with a knee on his neck. That officer, Derek Chauvin, appeared in court today on a video link from jail, where his bail was set at $1.25 million. Chauvin is charged with second-degree murder and manslaughter in Floyd's death. And tonight, across the country, the case is raising questions about the use of excessive force by police. Democrats on Capitol Hill unveiled a bill today aimed at reforming law enforcement, while in Minneapolis and elsewhere there are calls tonight to defund police departments. Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee, told me in an exclusive interview he does not support defunding the police, but says he does think there should be restrictions on federal aid to departments based on whether they meet certain standards. We sat down with the former vice president here in Houston just shortly after he met privately with George Floyd's family. Coming up, we'll have more of what he said to the family, including a very special moment with Floyd's daughter. Well, there's a lot of news to get to tonight, and our team of correspondents is standing by. CBS's Jeff Pegues is going to lead off our coverage tonight from Minneapolis. Good evening, Jeff.
Nora, Chauvin appeared before a judge from a jail that's about 20 miles away from here. He was taken into custody on May 29th, accused of killing George Floyd. This was a quick hearing. It lasted less than 10 minutes, and he uttered fewer than 20 words. Today, fired Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin, appearing on video, sat quietly wearing an orange jumpsuit and a mask as the judge increased the bail to more than $1 million for the 19-year police veteran who also worked off-duty at a Latin club in the city. The owner, Maya Santamaria, knew both men. Floyd worked security there too. We talked to her for the upcoming CBS News special, Justice for All.
He would pepper spray everybody for no reason, just if he felt like any kind of threat at all.
Yeah, so you weren't okay with that?
No, absolutely not.
Minneapolis Police Department statistics show that over the last 5 years, there have been 11,000 use of force incidents. Black citizens were involved in 60% of those cases. Floyd's death is now fueling efforts to defund the police department. The city council now has a veto-proof majority to potentially make it happen. City council member Alondra Cano says reform efforts have repeatedly failed.
Our current system is about 150 years old. It's time for a revamp.
No one here seems to have a clear answer about how a revamped law enforcement system will look. Los Angeles and New York City are proposing moving money from police budgets to underserved communities. Today, nationwide protests continued, 2 weeks after Floyd's death. Some saw violence. In Seattle, a man is in custody after shooting a protester from his car. And today, authorities charge Harry Skip Rogers for driving his truck into a Richmond suburb crowd of protesters. The county attorney says Rogers is an admitted Klan leader. Back in Minneapolis, the city's mayor, who was booed over the weekend for not supporting the defunding movement, said change will come.
We will rebuild as a stronger, more equitable, and more inclusive city.
We have reached out to Chauvin's attorneys to get a response to the club owner's allegations. We haven't heard back. Meanwhile, city officials here are telling me that they are considering a Truth and Reconciliation Commission similar to what was done in South Africa. Also, all 4 officers, former officers, will be back in court June 29th. Nora.
Jeff Pegues in Minneapolis, thank you.